Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We warmly welcome you to the AFC Asian Cup 2006 qualifiers. And this is the match between Uzbekistan taking on Sri Lanka. The match takes place in Uzbekistan. This is Shana. Stadium is Markaziy Stadium, Namangan. And there you go, just early seeing some of the drills. Both teams getting ready for the kickoff here. On the screen now, Sri Lanka and Uzbekistan as well. We'll give you the team sheets in a few minutes. Just about 10 odd minutes at the start of the match. Asia Cup, AFC Asia Cup 2023. Still the venue not finalized, but still teams just battling it out to get their positions to make sure they get a place in the final tournament in the next year. Cup qualifiers also part of the qualifiers to come from World Cup qualifiers as well. And both teams now walking out onto the ground, onto the pitch. Uzbekistan playing on their whites today. And on your screen now, number 14, 𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧, the captain of Uzbekistan. And Sri Lanka playing in their blues. Almost a packed crowd here at Uzbekistan at Namangan. In the comm box, I've been joined by Rahul. Good evening, Rahul.
Good evening, John. Exciting day for Sri Lanka. The AFC Asian Cup third round qualifiers, as you mentioned, as the two national anthems being played. Sri Lanka's national anthem going first. A key game.
There you saw the Sri Lankan team singing the national anthem, singing out of their hearts. Of course, a proud moment for Sri Lankan team there. And now it's time for Uzbekistan's anthem.
That's a wrap for both the national anthems. Uzbekistan and Sri Lanka clashing for only the second time in their history as we take a look at the lineups.
And here we go, the Uzbekistan lineup. Alionov, Saifev, and we also have the other players representing today in the lineup. That's Ashurmatov, Shukurov, Zambropekov, Masharipov, Yusupov, Shomurodov, the captain, and also Kamdamov, Abdullayev, and Amonov. The starting lineup today for Uzbekistan. Football, the uniting power here. A Central Asian team taking on the South Asian team to just get a berth on the finals of AFC Asia Cup. And as I already reminded you, Uzbekistan playing in their whites. Here the captain, both captains, Shomurodov and also Sujan Pereira, getting ready for the toss. And Sujan opts his side. And the Sri Lankan lineup today,
led by Captain Sujan Pereira, Harsha Fernando, 𝐀𝐿𝐿 𝐀𝐿𝐿, Mohammad Aqib, Asikur Rahman, Dylan De Silva, Shabir Razunia returning to the lineup, Chamod Dilshan, Sasanga Dilhara, Jay Sutasan getting his debut on an international level, and Asikur Rahman, Chalna Chamira. Once again, the Sri Lankan lineup for you. As we see some of the substitutes, you have a debut, if he gets to come on, Senal Sandesh, the experience of Mohammad Fazal, and a vast set of experience on the bench ready for the Golden Army if need be. As I mentioned earlier, this is the second occasion in the large history of the two nations where they meet for the first time, meeting back in 1999, where it was Uzbekistan who came out with a dominant 6-0 victory, and they'll be looking to repeat history here. The Golden Army meanwhile coming with a huge opportunity, coming into the third round of the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. And as you mentioned earlier, Jana, this opportunity comes after the second round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, and it was Uzbekistan who had a dominant display there, finishing second in their group, just behind Saudi Arabia. So absolutely, and it's now up to them. No matter how they got here, it's up to them now to grab the opportunity and show them that they deserve to be here. And it will all be dictated in the next 90 minutes. Uzbekistan kicking us off. Absolutely, it will be interesting to see the formation set up. It looks like it will be number 10 playing up front for Sri Lanka, Dylan De Silva. Absolutely, and Sri Lanka, they are coming into this tournament or into these qualifying matches after playing the Prime Minister Four Nations Trophy in November last year, and they finished that almost on a high, going all the way into the grand final and heartbreakingly losing it right at the end. But a lot of positives recently for Sri Lankan football. and it will be interesting to see, as we do see Sri Lanka initially starting at defensive line. The interim coach for the game, Mohammad Rumi. It will be interesting to see what tactics he can bring. He is a known winner at club level in Sri Lanka, so it will be interesting to see what he can bring as Uzbekistan breaking into the box, but cleared away by Harsha Fernando. The main danger from Uzbekistan comes in the form of their captain Eldo Shamurdo. He is one of the first team players for AS Roma and played a part in the UEFA Europa Conference League victory as well, so someone to watch out for.
Especially Shumardov playing on the highest level of European football, a team that won European honours as well. And of course, talking about the Prime Minister Trophy, I can still remember sharing the com box with you on that day and the heartbreak.
It was not a good night, but hopefully today will be better, as a good bit of defensive work by the midfielder Sasanga Dilhara. But there were a lot of positives to take away from that tournament as well, despite the heartbreaking moments, as once again Uzbekistan putting a cross in.
Might fancy a shot here, goes for the goal, but a bit wide of the target there. Number 20 of Uzbekistan going for the shot there, Asikbev Amanov. I think would be quite happy with that volley there. Almost tried to place it into the corner rather than just giving everything behind the ball there.
Chamod Dilshan, the tallest player for Sri Lanka, managed to get a head on it, but it didn't go far. But in the end, goal kick for Sri Lanka. Cleared downfield, but straight back to Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan playing with a 4 at the back, maybe a central defensive midfielder. Number 9, Zamrobekov playing, and now going forward Uzbekistan through the left flank here. Ball now with Masharipov. Might fancy a cross here, but gets back and gives the ball back to Shukurov. Ball comes back to Abdulev. Again the CDM takes hold of the ball. Shukurov again tries to thread the pass through the middle, but Sri Lanka defense standing tall there.
Try to Ratnayaka quick to clear it away, but Uzbekistan playing some quick and good short passes, being very direct with it. Still very early stages. Sri Lanka having a lot of men back, rightly so, at these early stages. Can't keep it in control, and a throw into the Golden Army. Will be very interesting to see a very young attack set up for Sri Lanka. Mohammad Aqib, Shabir Razunia, Dylan De Silva. A lot of experience, however, for all three, despite being young at age. And Dylan De Silva, one of the star players for Sri Lanka in the Prime Minister's Trophy we mentioned earlier.
I think some of his passes, some of his assists in that tournament was sublime.
Absolutely,
quite a lot did.
Some more performances like that, and Sri Lanka could be looking at upset here, as you see Chalna Chamira opting for a long throw in, headed away by Jesutasan.
Nice turn, almost a nice turn there. Almost got away from the defender, from the marker there. Now Uzbekistan's defense. Shukurov going forward with the ball. I think Shukurov has been that ball carrier in the first 6-7 minutes of Uzbekistan. Nice pass onto the right side, right flank, the right winger, high up the field, puts the cross in. Here we go, Uzbekistan almost goes for a goal. But once again, their captain, is it? Yes, it is. Shumardov not finding the target once more.
And Masharipov climbing into the goalkeeper Sujan Pereira. Almost sending him flying, but hopefully No harm, no foul. As you see, both number 10 and the skipper both tried to get to it. However, couldn't reach in time and couldn't get it goal bound. As you see, a large crowd here for the support of the home team. It's being played in Uzbekistan after all, and a stadium of 21,000 capacity, so it's not surprising to see the support here. It will be up to the players to try and block out the noise, focus on the task. Sujaan Perera back on his feet, more than okay to keep going. You have the forwards calling for it. 𝐀𝐟𝐜 couldn't find a teammate, and now Uzbekistan once again starting from the back. Sri Lanka, good interception, but 𝐀𝐟𝐜 couldn't do anything with it, and it's back to Uzbekistan. Fernando came forward, tried to do the same thing, but now Uzbekistan, and a crucial block by 𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 on that occasion. That was once again their skipper 𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚. Now once again Uzbekistan opting to go for the short pass.
𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 on that instance almost throwing himself to make a block there, and thus make a good block in the end. You can see how high the Uzbekistan line is now. They've almost come into the territory of Sri Lanka. Goes for the goal. Excellent save there from Sujaan Perera. A deflection, I guess, but still.
Absolutely, that the deflection makes it that much of a better save, because the deflection took it away from the original flight path of the ball. As we take a look at the replay, a deflection by either 𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 or the forward. It was 𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚, but a brilliant save by Sujaan Perera as once again the cross, and I believe that went out for a goal kick, but Sujaan Perera, a brilliant save, and that's why he's known as the Great Wall of Sri Lanka. Time and time again over the last decade he has been there for Sri Lanka, made save after save to keep the team in it, and once again he steps up and makes a brilliant save.
And it's quite a windy day in Namangantari. You can obviously see bits of papers just flying around, debris going around the stadium.
It's an open stadium as well, so that brings the wind into play much more. Let's throw in now.
Most of Uzbekistan's attack have been coming from their right flank there, using their right winger 𝐀𝐟𝐜. Is he fouled? Yes, he is. And 𝐀𝐟𝐜 has been that engine room of Uzbekistan. You've seen most of the ball progression has been through 𝐀𝐟𝐜 on that instance. Once again dominating the play here, 𝐀𝐟𝐜.
Uzbekistan very confident in their short passing game. And now going for the long ball. Almost headed towards goal by Aziz Bek, but Sujaan Perera managing to get to it. There wasn't enough power on the header, fortunately for the Sri Lankans. Good bit of pressure by 𝐀𝐟𝐜 to put off the header.
You can already see Shumurdov just pouncing on it to get the bits out of it, but still Sujan Pereira making a very clean save at the end. Dylan De Silva, 𝐀𝐟𝐜, Dylan De Silva, all very quick players, very fast runners. Sri Lanka can use that counter attack tactics if needed, or if they can.
Absolutely, all three, 𝐀𝐟𝐜, Shabir and Dylan, very very quick players. They still haven't been able to utilize their pace, as we see 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 𝐀𝐻 down in some discomfort. I think just looks like he got the wind knocked out of him. Seems okay to continue. Complaining about the elbow as we take a look at the replay.
Not quite intentional, but still a good knock for him. Shumurdov.
Physical welcome into international football for 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 𝐻𝐻.
And Uzbekistan also a team very physical.
Absolutely, and from the group Sri Lanka in, consisting of Thailand, Uzbekistan and Maldives, along with Sri Lanka, Uzbekistan are the highest ranked in the FIFA rankings, all the way up in 83rd, whereas Sri Lanka currently ranked 205th. So ranking wise, that's a massive difference, but as we've seen in previous games, ranking doesn't mean everything. As almost a good free kick into the box, 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 was the only player up there for it, but couldn't get a head on it, and easily collected and sent on its way now by Yusupov. And Uzbekistan once again looking to gain control of the game.
Now going forward, Ashurmatov to Saifir. Once again Shukurov on the ball. Nice pass through the outside of the foot here. Goes for the cross here once again. Uzbekistan trying to find the target man there, but Sri Lanka defense once again heading it out.
Once again that was a good header, as now again the cross coming in, and once again met by the header of 𝐀𝐟𝐜, but straight at the arms of Sujan Pereira. It seems like the strategy of Uzbekistan is to put those crosses in for their forwards to try and head it towards the goal. That's, I think, the 4th or 5th time they've attempted that, but the Sri Lankan defense so far has been alerted and up to the task. But once again Uzbekistan bearing down on the Sri Lankan box.
I think it's a very good tactic as well from Uzbekistan, because they have found some success on it, almost finding the target at times, not 100% but still. And Sri Lanka, a team that's not really gifted with good height, is going to find really hard.
It's like they've probably watched some of Sri Lanka's old matches, because in the Prime Minister tournament, for example, one thing Sri Lankan struggled with was those crosses and the headed opportunities from the opposition, and I think Uzbekistan are attempting to exploit that former weakness, but it seems like Sri Lanka have trained in that, and as we saw again, the defense alert to it and quick to make a block. Sri Lanka have put up a decent defensive display so far. Still early on in the game, as now the cross comes in.
Not cleared very cleanly there, but still Shumurdov.
Mohammad 𝐀𝐟𝐜 doing defensive duties all the way at the back, and it results in a corner for Uzbekistan. The first corner of the game, if I'm not mistaken. In the 15th minute, crossed in, not cleared away. Chamod Dilshan still not cleared away.
That's poor defending from Sri Lanka in every aspect. I think earlier they failed to intercept the cross, and then also the clearance was very awful there.
Absolutely. I said it was a good defensive display so far, but that was not one of those moments, as now this time cleared away by Satanga Dilhara. But once again struck straight at the Sri Lankan player and right at Shabir Razunia's head, unfortunately, and he is down in some pain, but Hopefully it's just the impact and he should be okay.
𝐀𝐿𝐴 looks a bit fitter.
He's been marking his trade in the Indian leagues over the last few months, and he definitely does look to be in much better shape than when he left.
And also a bit built as well, because the last time we saw him in the Super League, maybe a bit on the higher side.
It'll be interesting to see how, in terms of football play, he has developed. Still haven't really been able to see the Sri Lankan attackers as much as we'd like. But defensive wise, it has been decent so far. As once again, Uzbekistan
going forward, once again using their right channel.
Doing well to keep hold of position and winning themselves a throw in high up Sri Lanka's half. Sri Lanka winning the ball back and clearing it with no one there. They need to keep hold of position to Sri Lanka, because there they did manage to win the ball back but just cleared it downfield even though there was no teammate, and gave position right back, as now Sri Lanka winning a throw-in.
Hasan Rumi quite animated there, just giving out instructions, shouting out instructions, making sure. But Sri Lanka, even though haven't looked perfect in this game, still haven't conceded, which is almost the first win for them. If they break this game into small events, then the first 20 minutes is a win for Sri Lanka.
Because at the end of 90 minutes, even a draw would be a massive result for Sri Lanka against Uzbekistan, because as I mentioned, Uzbekistan are the toughest of the three, and a point here would mean a lot and would take a lot of momentum going into the other two games. As once again, a poor bit of defensive effort, but brilliant on that occasion by 𝐀𝐿𝐴, I believe it was, and Sri Lanka winning themselves a throw-in.
And the target man today for Uzbekistan, their captain Shomurodov, very clinical finisher.
Absolutely. He has scored 28 goals for Uzbekistan so far in just 54 games, and I was told that he's very close to breaking the record for his country.
So 31 is the record. So maybe another 4 to 5 goals will take him out into the number one position once again. Shomurodov, here we go. The first touch, maybe a bit hard though, because the ball came from the back and he had plenty of work to do, but still
there was a lot of pressure by the Sri Lankan defense. Good job by them. And Shomurodov not happy that Sujan Pereira has stayed down. Neither is the head coach. Sujan Pereira not really one of those players who would stay down if he didn't have to. But once again, a good long ball by Uzbekistan. He got a good touch to it almost, but a good pressure by Harsha Fernando and the rest of the Sri Lankan defense to prevent him from capitalizing on the opportunity. And just past the 20-minute mark, Sujan Pereira receiving a little bit of attention. And Hasan Rumi taking the opportunity to give some instructions and feedback to the players.
And also the Uzbekistan players as well refreshing. And that's Alionov, the defender, and this is 𝐀𝐿𝐴. Alionov also getting a small injury, maybe a small cut, a small bruise.
It is quite impressive to see the transformation of 𝐀𝐟𝐜 over the last few months, as you pointed out. But we still haven't been able to see him on the ball really much, along with Mohammad 𝐀𝐟𝐜, though we've seen him doing some defensive duties at the back. However, still haven't really been able to see them attacking on the ball.
And maybe that's because they haven't got any opportunities in terms of going forward for Sri Lanka.
Exactly.
Most of the play has been in the Sri Lankan half, where Uzbekistan keeps on attacking. Once again going forward, Alionov, 𝐀𝐟𝐜 looking for options here.
This time opting for the short pass. You can see on top of the screen 𝐀𝐟𝐜 making the forward runs along with his other forwards, and this time the cross ball coming in to the winger Masharipov.
Nicely controlled to make sure the ball doesn't go away to the opposition. Once again Uzbekistan.
Once again going for that over the top ball, and this time the header, Sujan Pereira, absolutely brilliant reflex save, just inches away from the forward. The defender, I should say, Farooq Saifiv, just headed it to goal bound, just inches away from Sujan Pereira, and Sujan Pereira somehow got his hand up and made the block and allowed the defense to clear it away. And kudos to the Sri Lankan defense being alert to clear it away immediately. But once again Uzbekistan already knocking on the door, but flag raised for offside to give the Golden Army some reprieve. But what a save that was by Sujan Pereira for the second time in this game, keeping Sri Lanka in it. Let's see if we can take a look at the replay. That's the offside decision.
Excellent save that was from Sujan Pereira.
And I think we'll see it now. It was a good over the top ball, and Sujan Pereira absolutely brilliant.
That's world class.
So close to the header as well, and got his hand up in time, and you don't see saves like that often, even at the highest of level, no matter where you play. That was absolutely world class.
Just milliseconds to react, and boy did he react once again.
The great wall of Sri Lanka for a reason.
Dylan, almost the sole, the only striker for Sri Lanka at times, because their positioning has been mostly defensive, I'd say. Even though they have got three forwards, some of them are doing the defensive duties. 𝐀𝐟𝐜 coming low down. There you go, the striker.
Sri Lanka poorly giving away possession once again, and now Uzbekistan, can they capitalize on another mistake, and it will be another corner kick. Sri Lanka, they won the ball back but gave it away quite poorly.
The ball control not the best, but again, once again you saw 𝐀𝐟𝐜 coming very deep. If someone can't feed me balls, let me come down and then I'll try to assist others. Good ball in. Sujan Pereira's
strong punch away.
Yes.
But ball back with Uzbekistan. And once again, over the top ball. And Sujan Pereira almost off his line, but well wide of the target in the end by number 20, Aziz Bek. He went for the finish shot from out of the box, but couldn't curl it towards goal just enough. And at the 25th mark, the scoreline remains 0-0. And it's thanks to that man, Sujan Pereira, 2 brilliant saves so far. This time the goal kick going all the way back to Yusupov.
Long ball to the right side, trying to find that right winger who has been responsible for such many crosses that have been coming from the right side, and here trying to find the man, but a bit overhit, goes all the way out. It will be a throw for Sri Lanka.
For the first time, Uzbekistan's long ball not working the way they wanted to. A rare miss for them, as now Chalna Chamira looking to go wrong with his throw yet again. Straight to the Uzbekistan players, and once again position given away poorly. Cleared away by the Sri Lankan defense. He did the right thing there, did the defender. But once again Uzbekistan breaking down on the Sri Lankan box.
Dove tries to take the shot, but the first touch taking the ball away once more.
Couldn't clear it away completely, and the ball back with the White Wolves. It's now headed out.
The Mexican wave going.
I think it will be another corner indeed. Packed stadium. I think the events unfold as the corner crossed in. Samod Dilshan and Sujan Pereira both went for it. In the end, no harm done, but ball still in play.
Masharipov now through the left side, puts it across. Once more, threat not done here. Now clears the defense of Sri Lanka going forward. Sri Lanka trying to break and go on a counter, but the Uzbekistan defense deals with it quite easily at the end.
Dylan De Silva, the lone attacker for the Golden Army, it seems. Yes, we saw good clearance by 𝐀𝐿𝐿, and that is followed by a not so good tackle by 𝐀𝐿𝐿 himself.
I think maybe it's because of the pace of the tackle, the speed at which the tackle came in, and also a bit from the back, I'd say. So the right call from the referee at the end.
And keeping his cards in his pockets, just not happy with the tone that 𝐀𝐿𝐿 was using maybe afterwards. But free kick to Uzbekistan in a dangerous position, one would have to say. And it seems like number 10, Masharipov, who is standing over it.
Masharipov, and first threatening free kick position here for Uzbekistan, but Sujan Pereira easily gloves it, no problem.
He was clearly looking to find a teammate in the box, but struck a little too close to Sujan Pereira and made it easy for the great goalkeeper. Now Sri Lanka, Shabir Azunia under heavy pressure from the defense. Can he get away though? And the throw in not going Sri Lanka's way,
which means the tackle was quite good. Shukurov on the ball. Shukurov finding.
But that was the first time, real time, we saw Shabir get on the ball attacking, and he was immediately swarmed by 3 or 4 defenders. So it's clear that Uzbekistan have a very strong defensive game plan in mind. As we see once again, almost all of Uzbekistan inside Sri Lanka's box. Sri Lanka's half, I beg your pardon. As now a cross into the box, straight at Sujan Pereira, well collected by the goalkeeper.
Good idea as well from Uzbekistan. A very threatening cross, I'd say, had the striker attacked it. And on your screen now, Kamadov and Thunder Club once more going for the Uzbekistan from their fans. Sri Lanka trying to move forward, but fouled here. Uzbekistan now turning the attack and going on an attack of their own now. Shukurov passes it on.
Sasang Dilhara stayed down, but referee waves play on.
Sharipov puts the pass in. Again, even though they have intercepted the ball, but given away a corner at the end.
It was blocked by Samod Dilshan, but then him or the rest of the defenders failed to manage to get on it, as Sasang Dilhara down in some clear pain, and referee still hasn't really taken notice. As we see, Samod Dilshan chested it down.
I think it's the chest. I guess.
He did control it to the chest, but the rest of the defense weren't alert enough to keep it from going out for a corner. As you see, Sasang Dilhara holding his wrist in some pain. Hopefully he will be okay. The young midfielder. If you take a look at what happened, I think awkward landing on the wrist was his downfall, receiving some treatment.
Not really called into action today. The Uzbekistan goalkeeper 𝐀𝐟𝐜 Yusupov.
We are past the half an hour mark. Plenty of time for him to be called into action. I'm sure we'll see a bit from him later on, as Sasang Dilhara back on his feet, but receiving treatment at the sideline. And we see a yellow card being shown to one of the coaches of the Uzbekistan bench.
I think the assistant coach just a bit more reactive in terms to the delay. Masharipov puts the ball in once again, cleared off by the defense of Sri Lanka, but not quite cleared. The threat not done. Masharipov once more comes forward inside the box now, puts it across, goes for the goal here. Once again, an excellent save from Sujan Pereira. It's almost Uzbekistan versus Sujan Pereira at the end.
Time and time again, it has been a nation versus Sujan Pereira. Sujan Pereira has time and time again, as I said, been the man who comes up trumps for Sri Lanka. And once again, a brilliant save. As you take a look, it was once again that headed disting and just off the line. Absolutely brilliant save by Sujan Pereira.
It's almost swiped like a vulture.
The rest of the team really have to step up and support him now. He has been a captain of great proportion, leading from the back and the front almost. But he can't do it alone. He needs his team to support him and at least put pressure on the opposition defense, let alone the goalkeeper. But that was save number 3. As once again, brilliantly breaking into the box. Player goes down, but referee not even looking.
Shuvardov not happy with the decision there, but looks like he did get a clip. Not really.
And that was anyway just on the edge of the box, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But in the end, the scoreline 0-0 once again, thanks to Sujan Pereira himself.
Goalkeepers are heroes in the recent matches in terms of European football, or this match as well, because we saw how the Champions League final.
Absolutely. But Sujan Pereira for Sri Lanka for the last 10 years or even more has been the hero for Sri Lanka on so many occasions. And once again today is once again Uzbekistan. But it's clear what Uzbekistan's tactic are, because even then they put a long ball in or a cross in and they are trying to get the headers in towards the goal. As once again you see a shot attempted from distance, and referee opting to give a free kick just on the edge of the box. I think it was a little too close to the attacker to be a handball. As you take a look,
that's it's a bit harsh, I'd say.
It's right near the ball, but nothing the attackers could have really done, the defenders could have really done about that. But in the end, referee's call stands, and it's a free kick in a very dangerous position.
And it's also a deflection from the other player that got the ball onto the path of his hand, so it's a bit harsh, but still, as per rules, as is going with the rules in terms of not taking the deflection into account, then it might be a foul. So here we go, just outside the box.
6-man wall with one lying down. Sujan Pereira making sure he has his defense where he wants them. It's not that easy taking a free kick from such close range.
Yeah, only if he wants to take the ball up and down, but if he wants to go, maybe drill under or just find a small gap.
Sujan Pereira a little bit off his line, gets it up, and
that's a goal for Uzbekistan. Masharipov scores with his right foot, going into the right corner. Sujan Pereira dives to his left, but still the ball had enough pace to get the ball into the nets, into the back of the net. And it's Uzbekistan 1, Sri Lanka 0.
There will be long debates into the night all over Sri Lanka and Uzbekistan whether that should have been a free kick or not, whether that was a handball or not. But in the end, free kick given, free kick taken, and a brilliant free kick. And Sujan Pereira couldn't make it 4 heroic saves in a row. And the scoreline is now Uzbekistan 1, Sri Lanka 0. As we take a look at the replay, it took the slightest of deflections off the wall, I believe, and right into the corner of the goal. Sujan Pereira, absolutely no chance.
And as I told you, it's only when it's too close players do try to get the ball directly as a shot. So more than a free kick, it was almost like shooting into the box.
Absolutely, but in the end, whether you think that should have been a free kick or not, they needed to capitalize on the opportunity, and they capitalized big time with a brilliant goal. But plenty of time really for Sri Lanka to at least get an equalizer if they wanted it.
But the problem is the way they are playing, because they are almost on the back foot trying to defend. So to Sri Lanka to get a goal, it should be maybe a change of system in terms of how they play, or change of tactics. That's how I see a goal coming for Sri Lanka at this point. And they are also missing some of their key strikers in this match.
Absolutely, but they need to try and capitalize with what they have. The first thing they need to do is try and get possession and then keep hold of possession without giving it away, because they can't even put pressure on the opposition defense if they don't have the ball. And that's what they need to do firstly, because as I said, Sujan Pereira has done everything he could, but it's the rest of the team that need to step up. And that's why you can't really blame Sujan Pereira at all for that free kick, because that was a perfectly placed free kick and almost no goalkeeper is saving that.
And of course, on this time, it would be very grateful to remember a very good Sri Lankan defender, 𝐀𝐿 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧, who was very vital and also very important in terms of defense, how they played the Prime Minister Trophy, and most of the crosses were cleared by 𝐀𝐿 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧. And unfortunately,
Sri Lanka's best defender, most would say, and he will be greatly missed, as Sujan Pereira managing to grab onto that. But it's now Sujan Pereira unleashing the ball downfield. Sri Lanka, they need to keep hold of possession. They need to try and put pressure on the opposition defense. Dylan De Silva can't do it alone. He's trying his best and looking towards the referee. No foul given. Play continuing.
And now going forward, the Uzbekistan. Plenty of space to run, and there you see, I think retreating onto your half is one thing, but then leaving a huge gap and making sure they run at you is something else. Because even when you go into your half, then you have to go into a bit of, to make sure there aren't spaces to let the other team come into your zone very easily. But on that instance, Sri Lanka just retreating on numbers there.
Indeed, as we see Asigur Rahman being spoken to by the referee. As now Uzbekistan once again getting the ball and once again looking to put a cross in, but no teammate on the far left on that occasion. And out for a Sri Lankan throw-in. You can see, despite having the opening goal, Uzbekistan are not stepping back. They are going to keep trying to put the pressure as we are into the final 5 minutes of the first half.
They haven't stepped back since the first minute, I'd say, because since the word go, Uzbekistan have been trying to attack, and finally I think they deserve a goal, to be honest. And of course, Sujan Pereira does not deserve to let a goal, because with his heroics in terms of goalkeeping.
3 brilliant saves, but unfortunately a sight that no Sri Lankan ever wants to see. Sujan Pereira down in some discomfort, holding his groin or hamstring, I believe, but landed awkwardly, going to make that save as well. But 3 absolutely brilliant saves, and unfortunately, as I said, it will be debated whether that should have been a free kick or not, but the free kick was struck absolutely brilliantly in the end.
And I know it's a very unpopular opinion. Maybe Sujan Pereira could have done a bit more well in terms of positioning, because the wall did have the cover for the other side. So
absolutely, and he was a little bit off his line at the start of the free kick, but in the end it was perfectly struck as well. And Uzbekistan now lead, and Sujan Pereira, if he is unable to continue, that will be a huge blow for the Golden Army, because we saw the saves he has made. The scoreline would be 3-4-0 now, if not for him. But seems okay. He has played through plenty of knocks before.
And even the Prime Minister's Trophy, I think Sujan did have quite a knock, and still he carried on with the knock. So
the only way to take Sujan Pereira off the field would be on a stretcher. As you see, a throw-in. Now Chandler Chamira once again opting to take it long.
Nicely done here. Going forward, that was Amanov. Amanov still going forward here. Shumudov making the run.
A crucial interception by Chamod Dilshan.
Yes, doing his job very well. Interception. And Sri Lanka trying to break free once more. Dylan De Silva.
Sri Lanka need to do well to keep hold of possession. That should be their primary target, because that is what I think Hassan Rumi will be telling them. As we see once again the long ball, this time headed out for a goal kick. Number 4 Farooq. Sri Lanka, they need to keep hold of position and get into Uzbekistan's half and try and put pressure on their defense and break into the box if they are going to even attempt to get a goal back. Yes, Sujan Pereira now looking to go long with the goal kick.
Now that we are nearing the first half, so looking at the substitutes list, who would you think might help Sri Lanka in terms of going forward? There's a long list of substitutes. And of course, Senal Sandesh, a very promising player, might help Sri Lanka in the second half.
Sandesh also known for his pace, but let's not forget he'll be making his international debut if he comes on, and that will be putting a lot of pressure on a young lad. But no big occasion, or no better occasion should I say, for a player to make their names. But you also have the likes and with the experience of Mohammad Fazal on the bench.
And also I think Jude Suban, a very good ball carrier. He has been very good for his province in terms of the provincial tournament, where he was very good in terms of carrying the ball. So Sri Lanka at times look a bit off in terms of ball carrying, and they haven't got more opportunities to do that as well, because the way the game has panned out. Once again going for the shot. Sujan Pereira dives to his left side and keeps the shot away. Good shot that from long range.
Absolutely.
From Amanov.
Trying to catch Sujan Pereira off guard, but Sujan Pereira once again diving off the ground and making a good save to keep the scoreline to 1-0, to try and keep Sri Lanka in with a chance, as the resulting corner straight out for a goal kick.
Ashur Matov, the defender, and great shot. That was.
Maybe should have done a little better with his header.
Should work a bit more on his header.
The Sri Lankan defense just allowing him to get that header off without any pressure. As we see a yellow card. Not sure who it was shown to.
Quite unclear on that instance. Here we go, Sujan Pereira launching the ball forward.
We are now into added time of the first half, and Sri Lanka also have another forward in the bench, Mohammad Shifan, who played for Upcountry Lions in the Super League. As it was Sujan Pereira who has got the yellow card. I think referee
has had enough in terms of
accusing him of time wasting almost.
Shifan was very good in the provincial tournament. His finishing was so clinical.
Absolutely, but even the problem with Sri Lanka currently are they are not being able to get into the Uzbekistan half or the Uzbekistan box to try and show off their attacking skills. So even if he does come on, they need to first get that part right before they can think of that. As we see, it's a minimum of 4 minutes of added time for the first half. Sri Lanka need to try and make sure, because what is also important is that while trying to score an equalizer, they don't concede too many goals, because there are 2 more games coming up, and in the end the aggregate points and the goal difference could matter. But a point in this game could mean so much going forward.
Once again, Masharipov going through the left flank here. The left winger puts the ball in. Once again, going for the header. This time struck. Going close to the target there. And Sujan Perera just yelling at his defense to make, to let the striker take the shot there, which was not the best of defensive act there.
Let's take a look at the replay. It wasn't struck well and well off target in the end. Sujan Perera. But once again, it's that same tactic, putting the cross into the box. Uzbekistan, and fortunately for Sri Lanka, it didn't work out on that occasion.
And 4 minutes of added time is quite some time for them to maybe get another goal, or for Sri Lanka to get an equalizer going forward. Now
Sri Lanka will be just looking for that half-time whistle to try and go back into the dressing room and regroup. Rumi will have a lot to say. We know how loud he can get in the dressing room, as once again Mohammad Aqib pleading his case before the referee blew the whistle even.
And that was a very good back heel pass on the way. Shamaripov, I should say, have been very, very good today in terms of attacking game.
Sujan Perera making sure his defenders are in the right spot. Just into the final minute of added time in the first half. Can Uzbekistan at the second? Sujan Perera making the save and cleared away by Sasanga Dilhara. Sabir Razunia and Dylan De Silva unable to keep hold of the ball. And Uzbekistan now headed away by Chamod Dilshan, not well, but booted away in the end by Mohammad Aqib.
About 15 odd seconds remaining in the extra time here. Once again, Shukurov passes it on. Now ball with Robekov. And that's the end of the first half. At the end of the first half, it's Uzbekistan 1, Sri Lanka 0. The goal scorer, Masharipov, number 10, who scored from a brilliant free kick. Now just outside the box, and he almost went in to shoot a goal, and he did get. Sujan Perera made some brilliant saves in the first half.
Actually, Hassan Rumi's half-time team talk will be very vital. That was something we saw with the previous head coach when Sri Lanka were not doing so well in the first half. They came out all guns blazing in the second half and had a much improved performances in so many games. And that will be what is required out of them now, because it could have been, the scoreline could have been much worse if not for Sujan Perera. But a lot of change required attacking wise by Sri Lanka in the second half to at least try and get an equalizer. So stay tuned, we will be coming to you.
The highlights, of course, coming for you, and then we can go into a break. Both teams just posing for their team photos, and Sri Lanka in their blues today. Uzbekistan from the first minute, they were really playing some attacking football, and they never ceased to attack. At what point, they just kept on putting those crosses again and again and again.
Yes, for majority of the first half, almost all of the Uzbekistan team, barring the goalkeeper, were inside Sri Lanka's half. As you see, they had majority of their chances came from the same tactics, putting the ball in and trying to get a header at the end of it.
Even though the goal came in a very, I wouldn't say controversial, but still with the foul, debatable, I'd say. but still they deserve to get a goal. And that was a very good save from Sujan Pereira, especially coming off a deflection.
Absolutely, Sujan Pereira, as I mentioned, the one reason the scoreline has remained 1-0. So many saves to keep Sri Lanka in with the opportunity. But Sri Lanka didn't really have much chances. That was like the best chance they had. Shabir Razunia striking in a good free kick, but 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧 couldn't get a head on it, as that was a brilliant quick reflex save by Sujan Pereira.
I think Sujan Pereira deserves a better defensive performance from his defenders, because he has just played his hearts out in the first half, but still some excellent saves. Maybe saves you would see, as compilation of maybe the best 10 saves or best 5 saves of a tournament, and all in one game.
So many saves, but then after all those saves, he couldn't do it alone, and it was one save asked too many, and the free kick struck perfectly, almost perfectly into the corner. Might have taken a deflection on along the way, but in the end, that was the breakthrough Uzbekistan needed to make the scoreline 1-0.
And this was another good save from Sujan Pereira. Very good shot. I think hit it first time there, you see. Didn't take a touch, and almost ball heading onto the corner there, but Sujan Pereira.
Aziz Bek on that occasion, and then once again a much easier save for Sujan Pereira on that occasion, but a save nonetheless. And attacking wise, really not much to see from the Golden Army. Hopefully more attacking performance in the second half, but we will be coming to you live with action of the second half in 15 minutes. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, joining us once again on Football Sri Lanka TV for live coverage of the second half of this AFC Asian Cup third round qualifier game. Uzbekistan taking on Sri Lanka. The scoreline currently 1-0 to Uzbekistan. The two teams just going through a final team huddle before the start of the second half. Joining the commentary box once again by Jana.
Yes, once again, good evening, Rahul. So let's see how Sri Lanka performs in the second half. I think almost most part of the first half was doing a good job in terms of keeping out a goal.
Sujan Pereira, the man on your screen, one of the main people to thank for that. 3 or 4 absolutely world-class saves to keep the scoreline down to 1-0. And we'll see what the final 45 minutes brings us. 2 more games to come for Sri Lanka following this. Thailand on Saturday and then taking on Maldives on Tuesday.
I think a draw here would do wonders for Sri Lanka in terms of going forward in this tournament, because this is almost the hardest match of the fixtures they have.
On paper, this is the hardest game indeed. But if we can keep the scoreline down to 1-0 even, that would be a big result going forward, because in terms of goal difference and everything, it could mean a lot. As referee bringing Hall to play.
He just jumped onto the cross to intercept it, and of course the ball striking his hand.
I don't think the player intentionally meant to stop it with his hand, but he went into that jump with his arms raised, and unfortunately for him, ball striking him bang on the arm. And a free kick once again in a dangerous position. John Pereira making sure he has his ball where he wants it. Four-man wall. Was a 5, now 4. Sasan Gilhara standing about a foot away.
Sharipov earlier this time, it's the other free kick that leads into a goal for Uzbekistan. That's number 17 scoring for Uzbekistan there. It's Kamdamo getting the goal there.
2 free kicks, 2 goals for Uzbekistan, and 2 world-class free kicks indeed. And how do you combat a goalkeeper making world-class saves? You put 2 world-class free kicks into unsavable positions, and that's exactly what Uzbekistan have done. 2-0 against Sri Lanka, and whatever team talks that could have been had are now out the window. As you see a replay, perfectly top bins, as they say.
That was an excellent free kick. considering, just getting almost to the corner and the height. That was the right height to make sure Sujan Pereira cannot reach to the ball. And that's it. Uzbekistan scoring 2 goals now. Sri Lanka nil. Can Sri Lanka come back into this game? That's the big question here.
That's the type of free kick. It was positioned so well. Almost no goalkeeper is getting to it. And in the 48th minute, 2-0. And now Sri Lanka, the team, with a free kick of their own. Uzbekistan trying to make trouble. It's in a dangerous position. If there is someone with a strong left foot, maybe they can try to curl it in. Or
can Sri Lanka repeat the feat here? If Uzbekistan can Sri Lanka can?
Not the best position to be going for a free kick with the right foot. But Dylan De Silva, a player of many talents, straight at the ball.
Disappointing at the end, but still the attack not done. Dylan De Silva is still going forward. Now puts a cross in. Unfortunately, don't want that to attack. Now goes for the shot and goes
Well
way over the.
Afikur Rahman on that occasion. Dylan De Silva, free kick straight at the wall, but did well to turn away. But then the cross completely missed by JC Towson, and in the follow-up effort well over. But the first strong signs of attack for Sri Lanka in the second half. And now Uzbekistan back in position inside Sri Lanka's half.
And now Uzbekistan this time attacking, almost threading the ball past the defense, but defense standing tall there. Now Sri Lanka trying to change it into a counter, trying to play the ball onto one of their target man, but unfortunately no one there to receive the ball. Uzbekistan once more going forward here. Abdullayev passes it on to Ashur Matov. Uzbekistan trying to break in. They are trying to cut back in, trying to play the 1-2.
Intercepted by Challenge Amira, but only temporarily. Ball right back with the White Wolves. Uzbekistan breaking into the box. Once again blocked and cleared away thanks to Challenge Amira. But straight back to the Uzbekistan defense.
Sri Lanka holding their line. I think Uzbekistan might fancy some long-range efforts here, because they're finding it hard in terms of just taking the ball into the territory of Sri Lanka in the second half. But their long-range efforts have been fruitful to them. And there we go, as we talk, another long-range effort, but Sujan Pereira keeping it out. And at the end, it's a throw for Uzbekistan. Good shot, isn't it?
Just as you mentioned it, they went for that long-range effort. But once again, a superb save by Sujan Pereira, and this time once again the cross attempted the ball into the box, headed away by Chamud Dilshan only temporarily. Chamud Dilshan, he got the ball.
Yes.
And rightfully, referee pointing for a corner. You could see that he got the ball first, but of course, Captain Eldar Shomurodov is never going to accept that. Tried to go down. If you take a look at the replay, it was good work by Chamud Dilshan. He did get the ball just by the smallest of margins. He had to get that perfectly right, though. If not, that would have been a penalty.
Masharipov, of course, trying to get the ball down on his feet, but failing on that instance. Once more, Uzbekistan through the left side here. Can they keep the ball in? Will get a corner. Another corner here coming for Uzbekistan. It's their number 20 on the screen there. Amanov.
If you take a look at that good save by Sujan Pereira. Once again, trying his level best to keep Sri Lanka in it. So many good saves by Sujan Pereira, but as I said earlier, he can't do it alone. As now corner struck in, but straight out for a goal kick from the corner itself. be a goal kick for Sri Lanka. Defensively, Sri Lanka have had a much improved performance over their last few games. It's just that the 2 goals coming off 2 great free kicks, and because Uzbekistan in open play have really struggled to break through on goal.
Yes, that's right. Even though Sri Lanka did make a few bad clearances, but still they held on in terms of not really conceding a goal from open play.
Once again, Uzbekistan in possession, opting to pass short, and this time going long, finding the winger. Look to get a cross in, but good bit of defensive work sees it out for a goal kick.
And now I think if Sri Lanka in terms, finding it hard to equalize, then their priority should be to make sure they don't concede lots of goals, to make sure their goal difference stays the same.
Exactly, because that is just as important in a series of games where in the end the points as well as the goal difference could matter. Making sure you don't concede too much. But even a result of 2-0.
I think Hassan Rumi might take this game to the wire and then make some changes, attacking changes, hoping to get some quick goals and maybe equalize the game. So we are still waiting for the change he has to make. Once again, long shot goes above the goalpost once more there, and it's that man again, number 10, Masharipov, who got their first goal for Uzbekistan, now trying to get their third one.
I think your idea was right. They seem to be looking for those long range efforts. They haven't been able to really break into the box as much as they did in the first half. But now Sri Lanka starting from the back. Not able to do much, and now the ball right back with Uzbekistan. 𝐀𝐿 cleared away by 𝐀𝐿𝐢 throw-in.
I think that was almost like a safety clearance there, or trying to thread the ball through, but again for this other striker to get to the ball was a bit very easy there.
Moment of madness by Harsha Fernando, but did what he thought best and cleared it at the expense of a corner.
Masharipov once more puts the ball into the box.
Headed away by Asigur Rahman, straight back to Uzbekistan. Long ball into the box, and unable to find a teammate, out for a goal kick.
A bit overhit on that instance there from number 20 Amanov of Uzbekistan. And Uzbekistan crowd today turning up in numbers, almost a packed crowd here at Namangan Markaziy Stadium. Sujan Pera walks a bit gingerly at times.
He's picked up many a knock throughout the 56 minutes so far.
And also he's on a yellow card.
Yes, will be taken, but 𝐀𝐿𝐢 clearing it away. Sri Lanka need to try and look to hold on to possession, keep hold of the ball if possible. Yes, Uzbekistan once again. A good pass.
Going forward here, Uzbekistan tries to thread the ball here.
You can see that they keep looking for the option to pass it long over the top of the Sri Lankan defense. As once again going for that very same pass. A diving header by Shabir Razunia. Dylan De Silva almost about to get away And you can see how frustrated he is that he failed to do so.
I think he's rightly frustrated. Maybe got a clip of heels there, but still, this time Uzbekistan puts a cross in, almost falls into the legs of Shumudov. This time takes the shot, but couple of defenders converging to make sure they put the block in, and they do at the end. Now Amanov once more puts a cross in. It's all been crosses here for Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan going back to their first half tactics of putting the ball in to try and get a header, but Sri Lanka's defense have been up for it so far. It's good to see the fighting spirit of the Golden Army. Trying to put on a rock solid defense. As you see, another corner struck in, headed away by 𝐀𝐟𝐜. Ball back to Uzbekistan. Once again, over ball, and too powerful for number 18
to get to the ball there. That was Abdullayev. Now Uzbekistan still not done with the attack, isn't it? Playing a very intense and high octane attacking game here, Uzbekistan. Sujan Perera once again asking his teammates to flock together.
I think similarly, Uzbekistan would have assumed that this would be an easy game for them, but I don't think they really expected the defensive effort that the Golden Army has put on display here. And they would also be looking at the goal difference, because there are more matches to come, and the goal difference could be vital after the end of all three games. So they will be chasing more goals, and it's imperative for Sri Lanka that they prevent that. As once again looking to put a ball into the box. Clear header. It's cleared off the line. The danger still not cleared. Sujan Perera, two brilliant saves. Danger still not clear, and Sujan Perera can't do it by himself. He did it twice in those few seconds, but Indians smashed into the back of the net. And Uzbekistan 3, Sri Lanka 0.
And just on that attack alone, I think about 3 chances for Uzbekistan to score.
2 of them blocked brilliantly by Sujan Perera, 1 by a defender, but in the end didn't matter. Smashed into the back of the net. And could Sri Lanka's defense have done better there?
Could have, yes. And the crowd already have predicted the score line. We saw a placard with 3-0. Anyway, let's see. Here we go with the replay. The first strike going in, Sujan Perera putting in a great save. And then once again trying to score there was Kamadov. And again Sujan Perera scoring, this time just a bullet of a shot from Farooq Saifev.
See the initial good save by Sujan Perera, and then
and there you go, the clearance is frustrating at times, because you saw multiple times, there were multiple occasions where Sri Lanka had a bit of time to clear, but still there you go, that was one instance.
Exactly, I think in those occasions the defender should have been much quicker and much more alert to react, but Farooq Saifev giving absolutely no hope to Sujan Perera, just blasted that into the back of the net.
It's about calm nerves, I think, because at times you've seen that once ball gets into the penalty box, Sri Lankan defense getting a bit, anxious, and then making
just past the other mark. 3-0, and it looks like Sri Lanka will have a throw-in high up the field, and Harsha Fernando is patented long throw-ins with his long run-up. What we like to see.
You've already seen this in various tournaments from Harsha Fernando.
The referee just having a word with the players.
𝐀𝐟𝐜, the farthest close to the goal.
Just making sure no unnecessary incidents happening. And there seems to be a substitution for Uzbekistan.
It's number 21 coming in for number 20, which means Amanov going out, and in comes 𝐀𝐟𝐜. Amanov has had a good game today. Azizbek Amanov going out. And in comes 𝐀𝐿 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧. Okay, coming back to live action here. Harsha Fernando's throw, a good one into the box. Unfortunately, no one there to head the ball into the nets there, but Jesudasan this time tries. Cleared off by Uzbekistan defense here. Going forward now. Sharipov.
Sri Lanka had a lot of players up front, all of them sprinting back to get back into defense. Good ball, but
what a ball that from Uzbekistan there.
Couldn't be kept under control by 𝐀𝐿 and Sujan Pereira put him under a lot of pressure. The ball still in play.
I think that was Sharipov, if I'm not wrong, who went in with that long ball. Great one to find. Almost inch perfect. And Sujan Pereira coming off the lines to make sure that he got to the ball first, and he did. Uzbekistan takes the shot again.
Captain Sharumudov couldn't keep it on target. And you can see he's not pleased with himself. He expects better from himself. But Sujan Pereira once again coming to Sri Lanka's rescue. And now gets ready to take the goal kick past the hour mark.
Dylan trying to break free off the defense line there, but he can't. Now Uzbekistan almost a bit. First time we've seen a very, I'd say, unneat pass there. Now going forward here. Uzbekistan does have option on the right side and will find him. And now ball with Zamrobekov. Thunder clap going again once more. The header going above Shomurodov today, trying everything he can to get a goal, but still not on the score sheets today.
Desperate to join the goal party is skipper Shomurodov. If you take a look at the replay, headed it but couldn't keep the header down. Well over the crossbar in the end. Same tactic. 𝐀𝐿 couldn't stop him from reaching the ball. Goal kick taken by Sujan Pereira. Dilshan rushed forward to head it away, but ball still right back with Uzbekistan.
Once again Uzbekistan might try to take the long shot here. It's Alionov taking the shot and gets the deflection of Harsha Fernando, and it will be another corner for Uzbekistan. The towering figure there, Shomurodov. Shabir Azunia man marking. 𝐀𝐿 there once again puts the ball in. Here we go. Uzbekistan trying to get the shot away. Now through the right side, passing it amongst themselves. A sliding tackle not coming through. 𝐀𝐿 puts the ball in. Heads out. And eventually ball cleared to a safe place from Sri Lanka.
Uzbekistan right back on it, not relenting. Uzbekistan threatening Sri Lanka once again. Another long ball, but well over this time and straight out for a goal kick.
Alionov almost across more than a shot, I think. He was in two minds, probably going for the cross and then, okay, maybe I can shoot it, and then
I think he was trying to go for those long balls to try and find the header, but he put a little too much power into it.
Once again you can see referee just making sure Sujan Pereira releases the ball early as possible. And the phone's out, the phone lights are out here in Uzbekistan Markaziy Stadium, Namangan, the city.
Now Uzbekistan once again in front of their packed home crowd. The fans cheering on, wanting to see more goals. Sri Lanka desperately holding on as once again 𝐀𝐿 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 making that crucial block.
In second half, it's been all 𝐀𝐿 I think, from Uzbekistan. He's been very good in terms of going forward for Uzbekistan and getting into right positions. Should be another change coming for Uzbekistan or Sri Lanka. We'll give you the confirmation.
That was offside as well. As we see a substitution, Dylan De Silva, the man coming off in place of Darshan. A defensive substitution, I'd say. Dylan De Silva ran his heart out.
I think he was almost alone in the forward lines. Dylan today not having enough support, but still played his part here. Now Uzbekistan once again going forward. 𝐀𝐿𝐻's ball getting and finding Alionov. Once again getting a deflection. 𝐀𝐿 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚 has been very good today for Sri Lanka. His height really coming handy for the Sri Lankan defense line.
Absolutely one of the many benefits he brings to the back line for Sri Lanka. As now the corner kick. Sujan Pereira came off his line and punched, and now Sri Lanka, Sasanga Dilhara just put it downfield. Maybe should have tried to keep hold of possession.
A strange pass that. Once again, Uzbekistan. Very cohesive side, Uzbekistan today. Playing those passes accurate as possible. Oh, that just drilled pass, trying to find one of the midfielders, and great cross once again. 𝐀𝐿 tries to give the ball in, but he can't. It will be a throw-in for Sri Lanka.
The final 20 minutes of regulation time in this first game of the third round of the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. Harsha Fernando telling him that he wants his teammates to go for a long throw-in.
Shabir Azunia losing the ball out on that instance. Now ball pass from Ashur Motov into Zam Robekov. Now comes back to Alionov and 𝐀𝐿 today really linking up very well on the right side. Once a great cross once again. Not finding Igor Sergeyev, the substitute, who just made his way in. There was a good opportunity. Sujan Pereira once again going down. Sri Lanka.
The player Sergeyev immediately pointing out Sujan Pereira to the referee, saying he's down again. But Sujan Pereira has taken quite a few bumps and knocks throughout this game. Captain Sri Lanka, he couldn't do it alone, he can't do it alone, but he tried. He made so many brilliant saves. The crowd having a bit of fun. They are more than happy with the result. Their home team has put on a great display. Still just under 20 minutes remaining as Asikur Rahman goes down.
I think he got stepped on the foot.
He's indeed holding his ankle, rolling around in some discomfort.
The referee's reaction. Perplexed one. Asikur Rahman still on the roll. There you go. Shukurov is quite surprised. to know that he was the culprit in terms of. Let's see what happened.
And referee saying he has to go out because the medical staff did come onto the field even though he didn't require it. And
Double change coming here.
so the second and third substitution for Uzbekistan.
Number 22 coming in, number 10 going out. Masharipov going out, and in comes Bozorov. Oybek Bozorov comes in. And the other change looks like number 19 coming in, and out goes number 17, which means Kamdamov going out, and in comes Turgenbov for Uzbekistan. Kamdamov today had a very good game for Uzbekistan in terms of linking up very well with Alionov.
Samir's free kick attempt straight at Uzbekistan, and now Uzbekistan breaking down with some pace. Cleared away, no nonsense of the Sri Lankan defence. 𝐀𝐟𝐜 was bearing down on goal. He really wants a goal of his own.
Shukrov now passes it on. Ball with Alionov. As Kamdamov has been substituted out, his place will be filled by Turgenbov. Alionov once more. Zambrobekov. Shukurov.
Uzbekistan keeping hold of possession well, passing it quickly. This is what Sri Lanka needed to try and do. Keep hold of possession and put some pressure on the Uzbekistan players. But plenty of lessons to take from this game going into the following two.
It's quite a sight watching Uzbekistan play in this match, because the coordination between the runs and the players have been excellent today.
And a result of 3-0 against a team of the caliber of Uzbekistan, and as high up on the rankings as they are, isn't the worst result that Sri Lanka could have had. I said there'll be a lot to take for. There's a coming together of two players off the ball, and Harsha Fernando has stayed down. Referee ignoring it for some reason. Play continues. Uzbekistan looking to see if they have to put the ball out, and in the end opting to do so. Fernando has stayed down.
Let's look at the replay here. Harsha Fernando. I think he was run over by the Uzbekistan number 21 on that instance. Here goes Sergeyev. Another 15 odd minutes remaining in this game, plus added time. Can Sri Lanka get a goal? One, a consolation at least.
I think Uzbekistan's positioning is very clear. They are desperate for more goals. They want more goals. They are trying to run up that goal difference as much as possible before the end of 90 minutes to take forward into the following two games. Already, this is the second game this Group C has had in this tournament so far. Thailand took on Maldives in the first game, and I believe that ended 3-0 in Thailand's favour. So Thailand currently top of the group, but Uzbekistan matching their scoreline. They will be desperate to get an additional goal or two to go ahead of Thailand at the end of round one.
Yes, and also Another match going at the same time live. It's quite this is Indonesia, but it's another group with both teams getting a goal each. Just for added information.
Now Uzbekistan back on the ball. Play resumes.
Uzbekistan once more. Trying to find more goals. Trying to hunt down goals here. Shumurdov puts the ball onto the path of 𝐀𝐿 on that instance, I guess.
John Pereira calmly collecting off his line and booting the ball downfield.
A lone man, sometimes the Sri Lankan striker.
𝐀𝐿 came, failed to collect, and now goes back to join the defense. As now Uzbekistan once again splitting the defense wide open, and Harsha Fernando coming to the rescue on that occasion.
Borisov. No ball with Alianov. Alianov might take the shot here. He doesn't, but rather passes it on. Ball with Turgenbov. Alianov. Alianov passing it on. Zamrebekov gets back the ball here. Zamrebekov. But the clearance going to Shabir Razunia, and eventually gets a touch and make sure the ball is cleared for a throw in for Uzbekistan. Shukurov.
Approaching the final 10 minutes of regulation time. Uzbekistan looking for more goals.
Alianov's cross, but once again cleared off by Sri Lanka, and the clearance of Sri Lanka at times look a bit unusual because no one there.
Just clearing the ball away from their half, but doesn't matter in the end because it's straight back to Uzbekistan and straight back into the Sri Lankan half. As once again Uzbekistan looking to threaten Sri Lankan box, looking for that long pass, going for the long shot instead. Sujan Pereira making the save, couldn't keep hold of it, too powerful, but deflects it away at the expense of a corner.
And I've lost count of how many saves Sujan Pereira has made in this game, probably about 6 or 7 genuine crucial saves, maybe more than that.
I'd say around 16, 17, more like. That's now around the 6th or 7th corner taken.
Once again Uzbekistan going forward here. Zamrebekov, Alianov's cross, but cleared away by the defense of Sri Lanka.
It was a diving headed clearance, but it was straight out for a corner. Maybe could have done better, but in the end, corner kick once again.
Turgenbov's corner going straight into a Sri Lankan player.
Cross into the box. Shabir Razunia put pressure, but ball still with Uzbekistan.
This time Uzbekistan finds a bit promising here.
Failed to clear it first time.
Took a bit of time to clear the ball at the end, but no damage done for Sri Lanka. Still the scoreline stays 3-0. Uzbekistan not giving even few minutes for them to regroup. Sri Lanka, and once again a powerful shot. And Sujan Pereira's left hand taking the ball away.
Sujan Pereira save after save to try and keep the scoreline down to a decent level. Yes, it's corner after corner for Uzbekistan, and not the best of clearances by Asigur Rahman on that occasion.
And as I told you, Uzbekistan not allowing Sri Lanka to blink an eye here. The attack coming as waves, one after another.
And finally a small reprieve for Sri Lanka, a goal kick. But you can see the intensity on Ender Sharamunov's face. He wants a goal desperately. The whole team wants more goals. They are chasing it shot after shot, and results in save after save for Sujan Pereira. Less than 8 minutes left of regulation time.
I think considering the score line, I don't think we might get as many minutes in terms of extra time, but you never know what the referees think. Turbenkov through the right side. Alianov.
Indeed, but any minute is a minute of clear defensive work needed by Sri Lanka, as once again not the best defensive effort, but the referee blowing the whistle and tensions rising a little. So has been not the happiest of players throughout this 90 minutes, despite his team doing well. He has been chasing a goal of his own and unable to get it, and tensions little high. Players need to keep their cool. The last thing they need with more games coming up is to put their team in a bigger disadvantage by getting a red card.
A high boot, but that's unnecessary from Shumurdov. To be honest,
despite being 3 goals up, he's not happy. He thinks Sri Lanka are wasting time. Referee keeping his cards in his pockets. That shows how much he and his team, despite being 3-0 up, they want more goals. They're not happy with the scoreline. They want to try and have that very high goal deficit going forward to the remaining 2 games.
Because they do know Maldives and Thailand are very good teams, so they don't want to just miss even a slightest of opportunities here. Once again,
Sri Lanka.
Shukurov just motoring through the middle with the ball, passes it on to Alianov. Alianov on the ball now. 2 options here. Turbenkov on the right side. Now ball going back to one of the forwards. Has he kept the line in? He does. This time trying to go for the shot. Ise. Uzbekistan still holding on to ball. Alianov. His crosses have been very good today. Alianov still keeping the ball in. Uzbekistan here. Saifer. Not finding the target man again.
Pereira had eyes on the ball the whole way and ensured it was going out for a goal kick, as another double substitution for Uzbekistan. Number 6 and number 23 coming on.
Sardo Sabik Kotiev and also Ali Kulov coming in. Substitutions on for, and out goes Zamrobekov and also Abdullayev.
Deep goal kick by Sujan Pereira, but ball right back to Uzbekistan. Final 5 minutes of the regulation 90.
Now Uzbekistan, you can see, I think the amount of ball possession today should be staggering, with almost the ball on feet of Uzbekistan, probably about 70.
I think that's why they've been so amped up and frustrated, because coming into this game, I think they were expecting a much easier go than this, because they weren't expecting such a tough defensive effort or a defensive fight to be put up by Sri Lanka. And after having so much possession, like you said, they must be so frustrated that the scoreline has only remained 3-0. And let's not forget, 2 of those goals came from free kicks, not from open play. And they had so many chances. But Sri Lanka's defense, they had a lot of shaky moments with the Sri Lankan defense, but a lot of positives to take forward and a lot of lessons to take forward as well into the next 2 games. As Uzbekistan, they won't stop chasing the goals until the referee blows the final whistle. As once again, long ball. This time the headed effort well wide of the target. It's number 21, 𝐀𝐟𝐜 on that occasion. Couldn't get the header goal bound. The next two matches for Sri Lanka Saturday 5 p.m. Sri Lanka taking on Thailand, and then Tuesday also at 5 p.m. Sri Lanka taking on Maldives. Two exciting games for the Golden Army coming up. All the live action will be coming to you on Sri Lanka Football Sri Lanka TV. Make sure to stay tuned and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any of the exciting stuff coming up. That's the final few minutes of this game.
Shukurov just harbored outside the box of Sri Lanka. The whole Uzbekistan team looking to score some goals, not retreating at all.
Absolutely. Only the goalkeeper has remained in the Uzbekistan half. But there is no forward for Sri Lanka to try and capitalize on the counter. They're all focused on making sure they don't concede anymore.
And captain Shukurov still missing his name on the score sheet today.
He'll be a very frustrated player if he doesn't get a goal of his own. Good defensive work by Harsha Fernando, ensuring the ball goes out for a goal kick. Final few seconds of the 90 minutes before we go into injury time. Yet to see how much the officials will add on. Looks like a minimum of 5 minutes of added time in the game. More than you were expecting, Jala?
Of course, especially the score line, taking into consideration, I thought we might get about 2-3 minutes, but full 5 minutes here. Definitely a bit hard for Sri Lanka to come back in 5 minutes, but at least to get a consolation would be nice.
I think managing to keep the scoreline to 3-0 also would be a big result for Sri Lanka, because in terms of being able to take just a 3-goal deficit into the following games in goal difference wise would be better than going with 4 or 5 goals against, especially against a team that's ranked 83rd currently.
And also considering the last time they shipped about 6 goals, this is half of it, so which is quite good, quite improved play from Sri Lanka.
A lot of positives to take forward, and as I said, a lot of lessons that they need to improve on going into the game against Thailand on Saturday. As danger not clear. 𝐀𝐟𝐜 now long range effort, well off target on that occasion.
He's trying to get the shot away there. Alikolov, the substitute, rather just getting the shot way over the target at the end. Sujan Pereira now. Still Uzbekistan, and the coach would be a happy man today. Uzbekistan head coach 𝐀𝐟𝐜, the Slovenian.
Absolutely, because in the end the team is winning 3-0. Maybe they would have liked to have a few more goals to take with them, but a win nonetheless, and all 3 points. is the best you can ask for. So we enter the final 3 minutes of the minimum 5 minutes of added time. You can see some of the crowd starting to leave. Happy spectators.
They already know the result, probably.
Or so they think. 2 minutes left. Uzbekistan, can they change the score line before the end of the game? Attempted through ball, intercepted well by 𝐀𝐟𝐜. So they should look to keep hold of possession, but instead they look to clear it away and possession right back to Uzbekistan.
𝐀𝐟𝐜 getting a knock once again, getting stepped on his foot. Shomurdov looking to get the goal again, but unfortunately the whistle is long blown.
And I think the linesman had raised his flag for an infringement. Referee was late to see it. I think the player caught him late, and 𝐀𝐟𝐜 in some pain, asking for the medical staff. Not really waiting for the referee to ask if he needs it, just signaling straight away. See, he got trodden on.
It's clear, clearly stepped on the foot there by Turganbov, who has been playing on that right flank for Uzbekistan.
A lot of discomfort.
And that's the score line. Uzbekistan 3, Sri Lanka 0. You can see fans leaving in numbers.
Saturday, Sri Lanka will be taking on Thailand, and Uzbekistan later after that will be taking on Maldives. As referee blowing the whistle and pulling out a yellow card, this time for Asikur Rahman. We are past the minimum 5 minutes of added time.
And we had a few injuries in the extra time, so we hope we can play. We might play another minute or so. So let's wait for the whistle here.
Sri Lankan players will prefer for the whistle to come now itself, as the ball comes in and goes out for a goal kick.
Probably might be the last kick of the game. And that's it. Is it?
Indeed,
Yes.
full time in the opening game for Sri Lanka in the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers third round. Uzbekistan winners 3-0 against Sri Lanka. And two world-class free kicks, and then a third goal at the end for the downfall to happen. You can see the players, despite the win, having a lot to complain about. Because, as I said, they would be frustrated that they don't have more goals to their name at the end of the 90 minutes. But a win nonetheless, and for Sri Lanka, some positives to take away, a lot of positives to take away, I'd say, but also a lot of lessons they need to learn going into Saturday's game.
And of course, Sri Lanka's defense in the first half looked good up until they conceded the goal, because they made sure that a goal from open play isn't conceded until the first goal or the second goal. And I see the referees making their way out. Today's referee 𝐀𝐟𝐜 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧 from Indonesia.
In the end, Fernando couldn't get on the score sheet himself, and he will not be too happy from that. But
and the thunderclap. Iceland's iconic thunderclap, adapted by many nations, and Uzbekistan also doing
Sri
it.
Lanka on Saturday, taking on Thailand at 5 p.m. It's 11th June Saturday, and then again Tuesday 5 p.m. 14th June, taking on Maldives. Two mouth-watering clashes coming your way. Thailand for the first time in a long time, Sri Lanka meeting, and then Maldives will be an exciting clash. Last time the two of them met, Maldives took that 4-0 lead before amazing comeback saw the game tied at 4-4. So that will be a game that both teams will be amped up for.
So at the end, it's Uzbekistan 3, Sri Lanka 0, and we'll give you the highlights package. And of course, Uzbekistan team, they're playing some attacking football, some iconic, eye candy football, I'd say.
Let's take a look at the highlights of the game.
And the captain of Uzbekistan today really failing to get a goal, but would be frustrated because he had many chances. And as we already spoke about, ball possession of Uzbekistan should be around 70, I think, if I'm not wrong, maybe 70, 75. Could be more than that as well.
That would lead to frustration, as I said, because they had so much of possession, they'll be very frustrated that they couldn't convert. They had a lot of shots and shots on target as well, and attempted headers, and they would be frustrated that they couldn't convert much more of them into goals because of some tough defending, and not to mention some brilliant goalkeeping by Sujan Pereira.
One thing Sri Lanka did well today was to make sure Uzbekistan didn't break behind their defense line. Even if they did break, but then Sujan Pereira was standing there like a wall. So Uzbekistan was forced to take those long shots, which they did, and to great effect. They did very well, to be honest.
Absolutely, but even those long shots couldn't really be converted into goals because many of them were again pulled off. Great saves by Sujan Pereira, as we see some of the great saves there. Just spectacular save after save, but he couldn't do it alone for long because in the end, after so many good saves, the first free kick came and it was struck right into the corner. As I said, there may be debates about whether that should have been a free kick or not, but in the end, they had to take the opportunity that was given, and they took it well and made it 1-0. Then more saves from Sujan Pereira to try and keep Sri Lanka in the game.
And that was the second half.
And then the second free kick came early in the second half, and that was straight into the top corner. Absolutely nothing that could have really been done about that. World-class free kick almost. And then more saves from long range efforts by Sujan Pereira. And then that was the third goal. A save, a brilliant save by Sujan Pereira initially, and then a double save, but then a bullet of a shot in the end gave absolutely no chance for Sujan Pereira or Sri Lanka. As you see, Farooq, I believe, just rocketed the ball into the roof of the net.
Sujan did everything he can to keep the ball out, but his defense not helping out on that instance for himself.
Exactly. He made two good saves. Chano Gilson also made a block, but the defense not quick enough to react and clear away the danger. Things to take forward and learn going into the next games, as I keep mentioning. As you see, more saves from Sujan Pereira. But with those saves, it shows how many shots that Uzbekistan were able to take and how many shots they kept taking. And that's why you saw throughout the game how frustrated they were that they couldn't increase the goal tally. And that was full time, 3-0. That will be all for us from Football Sri Lanka TV. Make sure you subscribe. We have more exciting games coming to you. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single moment of it. So from myself, Rahul Madrave and Jana, that will be all. Thank you and good night. See you next time.
Good night.
𝐀𝐿𝐻 𝐀𝐬𝐢𝐚𝐧 𝐂𝐮𝐩